With consideration to the high congestion in the Sydney airport and a necessity for a second airport, would you be willing to support and commit to a second airport in the Sydney Basin?
Look, I think that there is a need for a second airport. I don't support an airport at Badgerys Creek, and I've been opposed to an airport at Badgerys Creek in the 14 years I've represented our community. I think that there are both important environmental reasons for that position, but also important economic reasons. Environmentally, I think it's important that we preserve our rural backdrop and the quality of life that we have in this community. Noise and air pollution would be something that would definitely threaten that. We have the last remaining tracks of the food bowl here in Sydney that would be sucked up by an airport at Badgerys Creek. But economically, I think the other thing to remember is when the environmental impact statement was last done, it indicated that an airport at Badgerys Creek would need a curfew. Now, if you've got a constrained airport in the city and you go to build a second one, it just seems to me that it would make sense to have a location where you could run planes in and out of that airport 24 hours, rather than spending all of that new money on a new airport that would have some of the same constraints that Kingsford Smith Airport already has.
Okay, so with consideration to how long this argument has been going on for, do you see any time in the future when it will be decided upon?
Well, I'm a little bit older than you, and this argument's been going on for longer than I've been around on this planet. So, look, it's not an easy one to tackle, but I think it is one that ultimately we will have to come to terms with. But I think that's why, in my view, Wilton's an even more important option, because if you're making this decision 40 years ago, Badgerys Creek might have looked like the right option. I think if you look at where the future growth patterns of Sydney will occur, Wilton will end up being pretty centrally located. Most of the development to the northwest is constrained by the Hawkesbury River. The southwest is where future development will occur. I think it's important to explore the option of building an airport in Wilton ahead of that development, and I think it's important that that be a priority of the government.
Definitely.
Okay. Evidently, youth unemployment is a serious issue in Western Sydney, where over 24.9% of 15 to 19-year-olds and 12.1% of 15 to 24-year-olds are looking for work. If you're elected, what would you specifically do to mitigate the issue of youth unemployment? And do you think the increased green tape on businesses will assist the issue?
Mm-hmm. So, like I said previously, we want to increase funding to education. That's all sectors of education. And that will help with providing students with the opportunity to really reach their potential. And when I say all sectors, that includes primary, high school, TAFE and universities. So it's not just about getting people to go to university for degrees there, it's about people who want to go into trades as well. We want to also increase funding for Centrelink payments, and I realise that's not about employment directly, but it provides people with an opportunity to really, not fall behind in their payments, to be able to get out to more job interviews, to be able to live more comfortably without falling behind and finding it harder to go for jobs. I would say, in terms of green tape on businesses, I think that it's important that we have some restrictions in place so that, for example, what we want to do is increase competition between small businesses and big businesses. One specific example would be we want to break down the duopoly of Woolworths and Coles, so we can actually have small businesses being given the opportunity to compete in a way that they wouldn't otherwise be.